You're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Green Bay Packers content. Created for the fans, by the fans. Hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you know whenever we go live. Enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay, not Green Beer. Green Bay sounds good right now, too, man. St. Patty's Day, right around the corner here in about, 18 months. But here to talk Packers in this Green Bay Victory Monday. It's been a blast so far, man. If you're following along on Twitter, just an absolute celebration out there. It's been a great time. So looking forward to continuing with some of the things we learned today. But first things first, let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description that I'll send you to their website, theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, Tim, I know it's been a fun day. I know you've been busy. You've been doing some stuff here in the studio as well, trying to get some stuff set up on the stream. Appreciate your hard work there. But how we feeling here? Roughly 24 hours removed. Well, a little less than 24 hours removed from this big win over the Niners, man.
Man, I'm feeling great. Victory Monday. One last hurrah here as we round out the evening, and we move on to the Dolphins Thursday night, Thanksgiving night football, Lambeau Field. You got to love it. Feeling good, man. Feeling good about this win. I agree with Mr. Tom Brady. There's some things we can correct and get ourselves to that next level, that championship level, but feel good about our Packers right now. We're 8-3. We're rolling. We got one more home game before we head into Detroit to play the Lions. So I'm fired up, man.
Heck yeah, we got a full house in here already. If you guys would hit that like button on your way through the door, take your shoes off, stay a while. We're going to have a good time. No feet picks, though, all right? We're not playing that game tonight, all right? We already talked about that this morning. But
no feet picks, A-fam.
Exactly, A-fam. We trying to see your big toe, brother. You know what I mean? So you shared this earlier today. For those who missed the morning show, just want to hit it again. I love what Keyshawn said here to kind of set the tone for the team. This is what leaders do, man. They recognize problems before they become problems. And you can see there was already people trying to position themselves. Well, there's the only reason they beat them is because they're missing their quarterback and Nick Bosa. And I love what Keyshawn said here. It's the NFL. It's not an excuse. We didn't have our quarterback. We won 3 games. So don't want to hear that. We came to play. They should have came to play. So just probably the quote of the week. Absolutely love it. And when you talk in playoffs here, Tim, there was a simulation that was done earlier today, I think it was earlier today. This was like 7 hours ago, probably about 9 hours ago now. Pro Football Network ran a simulation. We ran 10,000 simulations, 10,000 on the Pro Football Network playoff predictor. After all of yesterday's games, here are the updated playoff chances for every team. So again, this is
playoffs.
10,000 simulations there, Coach Mora. And here's your chances of making the playoffs. Most likely, we'll just go with the top line here, all right? Kansas City Chiefs, 99.9% chance of making the playoffs. The Detroit Lions, 99.8%. Buffalo Bills, 99.7%. Philadelphia Eagles, 99.4%. Baltimore Ravens, 96.8%. Minnesota Vikings, 95.9%. And our very own Green Bay Packers are actually higher than what we had reported earlier today at 90%. They're actually sitting at 92.7% according to this simulation system. Pittsburgh Steelers at 90.8%. So those are all of them in the 90 percentile. So looking good. Again, it ain't a slam dunk, and we're not just going to settle for the playoffs. We need to make sure we're creating momentum going into the playoffs, right, Tim? We talked about that this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any secret that the division's probably going to go to the Lions this year. But, it's all about getting that seeding. If we can leapfrog a team or get some help, get some wins, move up a few spots, maybe host a home game in the playoffs this year, that would be nice. But, at the end of the day, you just want to get in. You saw the damage we did last year as the 7th seed wild card. The higher we go here in the standings, the more the red carpet is kind of laid out for the Packers moving forward. But I'm confident in this team. We've been back against the wall before. We've been down in games. We've been ahead in games. I think everything that this young Packers team has been through in the last couple of seasons is kind of brought them, to this moment. So right now it's all about, seeding really, because if you look at the, this breakdown, it's really cool. In my mind's eye, anything above that, 70% threshold, you can kind of probably figure these teams are going to be in the mix. You see some of these teams that are at, the 50s and 40%, they're kind of the bubble teams, So you look at those 90th percentile teams, that's where you want to be. So it's really just a matter of where we're going to be ranked when the regular season ends at this point.
Yeah, Fred McFarley in the chat said the Bears 0.7% as you see down there. You telling me there's a chance?
No, it's Chicago. There's no chance.
There was no chance when we started week 1. Are you kidding me? Yeah, everybody
still suck.
Everybody lighting the chat up. Good to see everybody. Eric Sutherland, I know. Shout out to Eric. Him and his son. They going through some stuff right now, buddy. We're praying for you, and if there's anything we can do to help you, let us know, man. I know little man's going to battle through, and everything's going to be just fine. And appreciate you hanging out in here with us, man. Sometimes it's good to listen to a sucky show, take your mind off stuff. You know what I mean? That's the way. Sometimes the best time you want to waste time. This is the show to do it. I promise you that. It's a complete waste of time. So, playoff picture as it sits right now. This is kind of cool to see it from this angle, from the bracket here. So essentially, you got the Detroit Lions of 1 seed, Kansas City Chiefs of 1 seed in the over in the AFC. Obviously, let's just focus on the NFC. The number 2 seed being the Philadelphia Eagles. If the playoffs were to start today, the number 7 seed Washington Commanders would go to Philly to play the Eagles, the number 2 seed. All right, the number 6 seed Green Bay Packers would travel to Seattle to play the number 3 seed Seahawks. And the number 5 seed Minnesota Vikings would travel to the number 4 seed Atlanta to play the Falcons. All right, so that's how the NFC shakes out right now. Over in the AFC, the Chargers would go to Houston, the Baltimore Ravens would go to Pittsburgh, and the Denver Broncos would go to Buffalo. The fact that the Buffalo Bills are so highly ranked here, Tim, as far as the seeding, I love it because there's going to be some cold weather football up there on the Great Lake. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
absolutely. I kind of hope the seedings kind of end up this way, right? I mean, a lot can change, but it would be pretty interesting. Not to say that I don't want us to climb up and grab the 5th seed or even the 4, but it's going to be tough with those division winners. But if you look at our side of the board, man, I mean, how cool would that be to go to Seattle, beat the Seahawks, get a chance to, possibly play the Eagles again, for a chance to go to the NFC title game against either Detroit or Minnesota coming out of that top bracket. What more could you ask for? We talked about this early on in the season about, the NFL is more exciting when the NFC North is a problem. And right now, 3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC North, they're a problem for the rest of this league. So it's pretty cool. But on the AFC side, man, I love winter football. That snow coming off Lake Erie, man, you got to love it, dude. It doesn't get much better, whether that's, you've got, Buffalo, you've got Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I mean, hell, even Kansas City, you get a little snowstorm action going on. So playoffs are going to be entertaining to say the least for sure this year.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And again, a lot of cold weather football around the corner here when it comes to how the seeding falls into place. It goes without saying, the NFC is going to run through Detroit. I feel really confident in saying that, unless they have something just absolutely catastrophic happen. They're humming right now. The fact that we might be playing the Seahawks there in the first round, if like I said, if the playoffs were to start, I like that matchup. I really do. I think we can. I think that's about as easy as you could ask for in terms of an opponent to open up the playoffs with the Seahawks. Now, listen, they're not. No team in the league is a pushover. Obviously, when you look at the standings. And it comes to Seattle, their record currently is 6-5. Big difference, right? Big difference than facing someone like the Philadelphia Eagles at 9-2.
Oh yeah,
huge. And really, when you look across the entire NFC outside of the North, there's no way we can play the Vikings in the first week, right? So I think that's it's impossible because obviously the division winners are going to be hosting the game. So. Pretty cool that you're really the 2 teams you're going to be potentially facing is going to be the Seahawks and the Falcons, that's it, right? Seahawks or the Falcons. It's got to be one of those 2 if you're not going to win the North. So
basically.
cool.
And winning the North is not 100% off the table. Like you said, you could have a cataclysmic failure by the Detroit Lions down the stretch. Anything can happen in this league. And then, the way I look at it is Detroit's been hot pretty much most of the year, right? They're a virtually unbeatable team, right? So they're poised for a slide, in my opinion. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, as far as, strength of schedule kind of factor. But, you want to be hot, hitting your stride right around this time of year, grinding out the end of the season, going into the playoffs. And, there are teams that are starting to do that. You can see it. But when you look at the top seeds, I look at Philly and I look at Detroit, man, maybe one of those two teams takes a end of the season dip, and some of that momentum is lost going into the postseason. And then you've got a team like Green Bay that gets on a hot streak and rolls into the playoffs, kind of like we did last year. We'll see how we play on Thursday. I think if we go into this road game in Detroit the following Thursday, with 2 home wins under our belt, especially coming off a thriller in Chicago, 3-game win streak, that's the kind of momentum you want to build as you close out your season and make it tough on these top ranked teams, in your conference for sure.
Yep. I agree, man. It'll be fun. Love this time of year. There's nothing better than the second half of the NFL season. I honestly enjoy it more than the playoffs. I really do. It's you're constantly checking the standings. Monday Night Football means something more, as opposed to when do the Packers play. It's like the first half of the season, I could care less kind of the primetime games unless it's a division rival. And then you get to say half the season, it's like, all right, what are these two teams' chances of making the playoffs, right? Like tonight, Baltimore and the LA Chargers, they're both fighting, pretty much for their playoff hopes. So,
and that's like, you look at us, it's probably, we're basically chasing Minnesota, right? We're trying to leapfrog Minnesota,
right? Maybe
jump up to that 5 seed. But again, with the, the other division winners, it's going to be tough to really go any further than that, right? We'd probably max out at a 5 seed, maybe the 4 at best. Unless, again, we get a collapse from Detroit and we can steal that division there at the end of the year.
Yeah. Packers Kingdom in the chat said the Fins defense is ass, Clayton. These running backs can run all over the Fins defense. Just got to stop the Fins offense. I haven't got a chance to really dive into it yet, their Kingdom. I know their offense, I don't want to say it scares me. It's just so efficient that really the way that you need to attack their offense is diametrically opposed to how I like to play defense. When you've got an RPO-heavy team, get up, play press man, play physical. Now, the problem with that is when you play press man, you're more vulnerable to the running game, and Mike McDaniel is as good as anyone at scheming up the running game.
Yep.
That, as well as Tyreek Hill with press man, and you probably having a bracket cover him. If you bracket cover him, you're opening up the running game even more for him, right? If you don't bracket cover him, he can take the top off in a press man situation. If you play off and play your normal cover 3 zone like we play, that is just screaming to work the RPO game under all night long. It's going to be a game of cat and mouse. It really is. I'm excited about it.
I think so too. It's going to be a delicate dance. And this is what we live for, right? This is why we watch football, these type of matchups, watching these coaching staffs kind of play chess with each other out there. And we know that Coach LaFleur is no stranger to Mike McDaniel and vice versa. So it'll make for an interesting game, to say the least. And the Dolphins, man, they're humming right now ever since Tua's return. I was of the opinion that he might never play football again, and we kind of got a comeback story brewing here down in Miami. So got a hot AFC team trying to salvage their season coming into Lambeau Field on Turkey Day. It's what more can you ask for, man? It's November football here in Titletown. 2 great teams, and I think you're right though. If we get caught playing off too much, they're going to light us up underneath. If we get caught, playing too aggressive, they're going to have the potential to take the top off of our defense. The X factor makes me feel a little bit better because we all know how good Xavier McKinney is, regardless of what we're calling out there. He has a crazy ability to just cover the entire football field single-handedly. So
Sugar,
kind of Sugar getting back in coverage, playing downhill. We saw that a lot yesterday. So he's really your safety valve against a guy like Tyreek Hill, I think, as you face the Dolphins. But it'll be a good game of cat and mouse, like you said, Clay.
Yeah, and the cool thing, weather-wise, the updated forecast, Thursday's high the high on Thursday in Green Bay, 33 degrees. The low that night, 19 degrees. So
perfect for a team from Florida. Come
yeah.
on in here, right? I mean, come on. What more do you want?
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
If you have to lean on the run, and they do have a bad run defense, and we talked about it. Josh Jacobs, as that temperature drops, you rev him up.
Yep.
The question is, can you stop their run game? I'm sorry, they're a good running team too. Don't get me wrong, but they don't have a Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
Right.
We just shut McCaffrey down. Now listen, the 49ers had a decent run defense, right? And the Packers, Matt LaFleur worked absolute magic. Chalk Talk tomorrow, guys, is going to be off the chain. Not because I know what the hell I'm talking about. If we just muted the whole broadcast and just played these 16 plays, you're going to be going, oh my God. The way that Matt LaFleur schemed this up, man, with the boomerang orbit motion, taking the handoff and then giving to Jacobs. And on top of that, you've got literally a left tackle crossing right, a right guard crossing. It's just, and the parting of the seas. It was like, what kind of circus?
You know what's funny is, like, this is the kind of stuff we were talking about last season that they weren't able to do, right? They were kind of out of sync, and it was getting too complex. And it's like, now you see another year of these guys playing together, another year of this system, another year of these concepts, and it's working. These guys look in rhythm when they're doing that, man. I love it. Yeah.
Ron Samble in the chat said Green Bay can beat the Lions. I think the worst team, and I think the Bears could beat the Lions. I think that I don't even know who the worst team is, the Patriots. I think the Patriots could beat the Lions. But I'm
the
definitely
Giants
not
are the worst team in the NFL for sure.
What is it?
The Giants.
Yeah.
Probably,
Good
right?
point.
I mean, arguably, probably
No,
the worst.
yeah, absolutely. They don't even have a quarterback now. They just ran their quarterback out of town, and at least the Patriots do have Drake May, who's shown a lot of promise.
Exactly.
But the point there is, any team can beat any team on any given Sunday in the NFL. I'm telling you right now. So, of course, the Packers can beat the Lions. I agree with that.
That ain't no problem. Well,
It's just I'm looking forward to that matchup. I really am. Them facing again later in the year to go up into Detroit. And you know what we need to do? We need to return the favor. You know how they always pack out Lambeau with Detroit fans?
Amen.
We need to get our asses in that stadium and get some Go Pack Go chants going like we had down in Tennessee this year. It was phenomenal, man.
Let's have a repeat of last season. We lost at home to them. We came in there into the dome and got it done. Took care of business last year. Same script this year, right? Let's go into Detroit, get our redemption game back. Split the series with them.
Yeah. United Bates in the chat says Mike McDaniel said he was going to keep ice cubes in his pockets and throw them at players during practice in response to the cold. Fella is something special, LOL. And then Greg Rice says, Bates, was he high? So I think probably was on the old devil's lettuce at that.
The old giggle bush.
It's a really cool backstory though, LaFleur and McDaniel's kind of friendship. Because for those of you who don't know, and I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds, I'm just going to tell part of the story that I kind of know. When they were in Houston together on that coaching staff under Kubiak, Mike McDaniel basically had a real bad drinking problem and was late a couple times, and they fired him. Okay, and hearing his side of the story was really humbling. He was like, "Man, I got to work my ass off to get back in this league. I'm never going to make that mistake again." Matt LaFleur actually vouched for him to get him on the staff with them in Washington. And then when they left Washington and Kyle Shanahan gets the OC job in Atlanta, they take him with them, right? And then, of course, Shanahan ends up leaving to go to San Francisco, and he took Mike McDaniel with him there. So he had to choose between his assistants, who's going to be my OC, right? And he chose Mike McDaniel. And then, of course, Mike McDaniel ends up going on to – it's a really cool story. You can actually find old NFL films clips, too, of the 90s Denver Broncos. And you'll see Kyle Shanahan as a ball boy on the sideline. And right there with him is Mike McDaniel. He was a ball boy. That's how they met.
I love it. Really this boy's got to stick together, right?
Right.
You got to look out for your homies,
And I know he's awkward and everything, but I do believe he's 100% authentic. I do. I think he's a guy. He's just, we all have that buddy where it's like, yeah, that's Jarvis. But if somebody comes up and hits Jarvis in the mouth, I'm taking an ass whooping with him. You know what I mean? Like he's our guy. He's just different.
Absolutely. And the way he just exudes football too. I mean, it's obvious that he loves the game. And he's another one of those coaches, a lot like Matt LaFleur, a lot like Kyle Shanahan, that love their players and will go to war for their players. And you got to respect that. Unconventional. You might not agree with them all the time. You might not like the style, the swag, whatever it is, but you can't deny the fact that he loves football and he loves his players. And you got to respect coaches like that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go ahead and announce our PTA Players of the Week. We had you guys vote last night on really any player. Josh Jacobs ran away with it. And then today we had y'all vote for the defensive players. So our PTA Players of the Week are Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. And won by a landslide, too. McKinney was over 50% of the votes, and there was 4 choices. Josh Jacobs, I think he was like in the up around 90, maybe 92%. So obviously, I think it's cool that we're doing this because this is you guys speaking. Me and Tim, we're not voting in this. Emilio's not voting in this, right?
Yep.
This is the fans, the listeners, the viewers that are voting on this. So if you guys are hearing my voice on the podcast, hop over to YouTube, type in Packers Total Access, subscribe to the channel. And whenever we go live like this, just jump in there even long enough just to vote, right, to get your voices heard as well. I think it's really cool to kind of give you guys and gals that voice to, like I said, give your opinion on who should be player of the game, for sure. This was pretty cool. I actually seen this just a second ago. Jacob Morley actually tweeted it out. Said Spicy Romeo, Christian reminding him only get 2 pumps. Talking about the old, what was that, Keenan and Peele? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old skit. But this guy right here, Lenore, was running that mouth. You guys remember, right? He was running that mouth all week long. And look at Dobby right in his face, Tim. Love to see it.
I think Rome's coming out of his shell a little bit. He was seemed a little bit more demonstrative on a couple of those plays yesterday, and I'm here for it, man. I love it.
Same, man. Love it.
I mean, Rome's a quiet dude, man, but there's passion there, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I'm telling you, it's the quiet ones you got to worry about.
Yep.
The quiet ones are the ones that they're observing the room. Next thing you know, they're over there with a bar stool hitting somebody over the head with it. You know what I mean? That's usually how that works. So. Not that I've experienced that firsthand with my upbringing, but
not at all. No, you've never seen that.
All right, let's go to the PTA posse over at Patreon. Appreciate you guys and gals joining over there. If you're interested in joining our Patreon group, scan the QR code in the upper right or just go to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. We got a number of different chats in there. If you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you get access to the chats and also get entered into giveaways as we try to give back to those who are giving to the channel and supporting the channel in that regard. Nebraska Rev up first said, does anyone else think Matt Eberflus looks like a guy you would find in your kitchen drinking your coffee in boxers and a T-shirt the day after your sister celebrated her 25th high school class reunion?
That's terrible.
That's pretty spot on, Tim. It's pretty spot on, man. Let's see up next. Fractal of God says, can you explain the middle 8 and its context? Absolutely. So here's what the middle 8 is, Fractal of God. It's really, really simple. The middle 8 is the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. And the reason it's important, typically the team that wins the middle 8, they have complete control of the momentum in the second half of the game. It's absolutely huge. This isn't something I came up with on my own. I've read multiple books by and about Bill Belichick. Michael Lombardi's wrote a couple books. He mentions it several times. Anyone who knows football, that's coached around football, understand that the middle 8, basically you break the game down into 3 facets, right? The first quarter is you're gathering information. And as you, in the first quarter heading into the second, you're adjusting to, okay, did our scouting report match up with what we expected them to do? If it didn't, let's go ahead and make that in-game adjustment, all right? And then the end of the second quarter, it's all about controlling the middle 8, meaning, let me give you an example. You guys remember the pick 6 right before halftime a couple weeks ago? Probably the most important play of the game. It lost us the turnover differential and the middle 8 in one single play, right? That created so much momentum going into the second half, but also that additional lead there, especially when you're having to give the ball right back to the opponent if you did indeed decide to take the ball to open up the game. So that's what the middle 8 is. Again, first quarter, gathering information and making the game plan adjustment. Second quarter, early third, controlling the middle 8. making sure that you outscore your opponent in the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter is a standalone game. That's what's always taught there, okay? Coach Lynn in the chat, except when you're the Packers, lose the middle eight and still win the game multiple times this year. LOL. I'm telling you, man.
And lose the turnover differential too on top of it.
It's unbelievable. I was like, boys, I've been doing this for a while. I've been charting this stuff for a long time. This never happens. This kind of feels like it might be special. Might be a little bit of.
You getting that vibe too? I got that vibe all day yesterday, man, watching that team.
Absolutely. Nebraska Rev in the Patreon group said, we have thrown out the theory that Quay struggles to diagnose plays, and that is why he often struggles. Today, he didn't do that. Do you think that might be because he practices against an offense like the 49ers every day? There's definitely some familiarity there. And you guys notice, as I broke down Chalk Talk even further, it stood out even more to me. We really pressed into 21 personnel. And when I say 21, it's really 11 personnel and 12 personnel, but we were putting Jaden Reed in the backfield. Now, there was a couple times that we ran traditional 21 personnel with Chris Brooks back there. One specific play we're going to break down on Chalk Talk. Ball snapped, fake orbit, right? Not even fake orbit, no. Josh Jacobs goes around, like he's sidecar right, Chris Brooks is sidecar left, right? Ball snapped. Josh Jacobs goes behind Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love turns. He almost acts like he's going to fake to Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks shoots straight across the formation to lead block. Jordan turns around, hands the ball to Josh Jacobs, and we run a counter G, a power G play that was more of a counter. And Chris Brooks smacked Devondre Campbell right in the mouth with an F.
You know what I'm waiting for on those? I'm waiting for the look where we run a play like that, and it's two play fakes and then a dart. From Jordan Love. You know what I mean? You lull him to sleep with the play action and the run, counter run, inside zone, outside zone, and then you run a play like that, and instead of the deception with the play fake to set up another handoff, you're faking two handoffs and you're throwing a go ball or you're throwing a quick slant or something like that, man. I feel like that's coming. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that.
I could see it too. And what I love about it too is like last year, you guys remember the double fake swing pass and then hit Luke Musgrave down the seam?
Yeah.
We haven't shown that yet this year. I think it's coming. They're going to break that one out soon. You watch. And it all comes from the defense, like Tim was saying, biting on play action and really pulling defenders up so you can attack that seam.
Just hopefully we don't run it first and goal from the 8-yard line or something, Yeah. If we give ourselves a little room.
Yeah. With Nebraska Rev here and the question again, I think there was some of that familiarity, but also to me, Quay looked like they kind of just told him, hey, look, go out there and attack. One of his tackles for a loss on a 2nd and 10 play made Chalk Talk tomorrow. I'm excited to show it to you guys. There was no hesitation.
Is Quay from guarding blades of grass in Joe Barry's system, or you think he's got a little Joe Barry PTSD in his?
Yeah, it could be, but I tell you, man, he's been guarding blades of grass this year too.
Yeah, so that's true.
There's been times where he's just kind of sitting back there. This was the game where it was like it went
something must have happened.
Kind of makes me wonder if they're showing him Edgerrin Cooper tape, like, hey, Bub, this is what we want you to do. Like, stop playing scared. And not scared of the opponent, but scared to make a mistake. Go out there, and if you make a mistake, make it big.
I feel like he might have had a one-on-one with Coach Campanelli or something, Just kind of unlocked him, fired him up, said, play fearless out there, right?
Yeah. Nebraska Rev in the chat said Tom Silverstein made reference to LVN being benched in the third quarter, then coming back and forcing that fumble. Anyone else see or notice LVN being benched or why? That's the first I've heard of it, Rev. But I'll tell you, his snap count, that would make sense, right? That would make sense because his snap count was 18. So he had Kingsley and Igbare had more snaps than him. He had one more snap than him.
I know he had a penalty, right? There was a penalty on LVN.
Offside.
Yeah,
that could be why. That probably makes the most sense of why he would be benched. Brenton Cox Jr. had 22 snaps, and then Rashawn Gary with 26. So, and it's so cool to see that there was only 43 snaps on defense too, Tim. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Snaps were tough to come by on the defensive side of the ball. You got to love that, man. Really, I think what we're seeing here is a couple of weeks removed from the Preston Smith deal is this defense kind of coming together. fighting through injuries and kind of guys establishing their roles now. Being down a veteran edge guy like Preston Smith, who's really stepping up to fill that void. We know LVN, Inigbare, those guys, they're kind of versatile. They can be used both sides of the line, different ways. So, I don't know if there was any truth to the benching scenario. It could have just been a rotational thing, trying to get more guys some looks. But I think the penalty would be the only thing I could think of there.
It makes sense because he was too. Like he was a full helmet over the line too. It's like, what the hell? What are we doing here, Bob?
Yep.
So
and you got to shore that up now because you can't be in the playoffs, or making a playoff push, and then you end up losing the game on some stupid procedural penalty like that. So you got to clean it up now for sure.
Yeah. M. Smitty in the chat says when Quay plays with abandon, it's great. Only problem is he is inconsistent playing this way. And again, I think it's from game plan to game plan. And I honestly think that last night they were told, look, we stopped the run tonight.
Yeah.
If this quarterback wants to throw on us, he's going to throw on us. We'll take that chance, but we're stopping the run. And boy, did they ever.
Maybe that's what they said. Just trust your secondary, trust McKinney, trust Bullard, trust Williams, trust our corners and just go out there and play downhill.
Yeah. Fred McFarley, this is the Quay.
I like that.
See what you did
I like
there.
that. Copyright that one for sure. I like that.
All right, let's hit the PFF grades. What do you think, Tim? You ready to do it?
Yes, let's do it.
Man.
Speaking of Quay Walker at the top of the list, once we get to the individual grades here, let's go.
I'm telling you. And when you look at the weekly grades here, kind of exciting, as this was the highest graded team grade, according to PFF, all year long at a 77.3. Their offensive grade was a 73.9, passing grade a 60.8, pass blocking 79.3, receiving grade 67.5, running grade 81.3. Run blocking grade 65.4, Tim. Look at that, man. Look at that. 65.4. That is what? 1, 2. That's our third highest run blocking grade game against a solid defense in the Niners. That's great news there. Defensive grade 75.6. Put some spec on Halfley's name. Run defense grade 73.5. Tackle grade 82.7. That's the best of the year right there. Pass rush grade 72.0. That's the second highest effort this year in the pass rush category. Coverage grade 72.9. That is 1, 2. That's the third highest grade of the year. And the special teams grade of 51.1. That's how that shakes out. Now let's jump over to the offensive side of the ball. Leading the way for offense, you love to see it. Mr. Malik Heath with a 92.3 on the day. Number 2, Elton Jenkins, 86.6. Tim, that's what I'm talking about. Even with the penalty, bro.
Yep.
Run blocking grade 87.4, just throwing people out of the club, man. Love to see that. Josh Jacobs, 86.3. A passing game grade of 79.8. Pass blocking 75.7. Running grade 80.2. And run blocking was just that flat 60, just kind of a default grade there. Zach Tom, 78.8. Emmanuel Wilson, 75.9 on 15 snaps. That's what I'm talking about. Rasheed Walker, 72.6, Tim. That's it's kind of rare. Rasheed's usually kind of low overall, but really high pass blocking. His pass blocking, again, 85.1.
64 on the run block. Look at that.
Let's go. And when we take a glance at it here, just so you guys can see what we're talking about, his overall offensive grade all year long, 60.9, 65.5, 53.3, 74, 68.1, 53, 55, 52, 73, 62, 72. You're seeing it start to stabilize a little bit, man. That's exciting. And like you said,
run block, man, look at that. 64.4 is highest grade this season. There's truth to what you're saying. I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, the conversation was, hey, we're going to run the damn ball today. And on the defensive side of the ball, it was, hey, we're going to stop the damn run today. And it's totally evident in these numbers here. And just love to see it, man. Awesome for Rasheed Walker, man. Like you said, 6th round pick or 7th round pick.
Yeah, 7.
Unbelievable, the development in just a few short years, man.
Yeah. Romeo Dobbs, 69.7. Andre Dillard, 65.5, only 4 snaps. So Travis Glover, I skipped over him. Only 4 snaps, but a 69.8. Dontavion Wicks, 63.6 on 28 snaps. Jaden Reed, 63.5. Jordan Love, 63.5. Josh Myers, 63. What's he up to now? How much did that help him? He's at what 51.5 now. That was his what 1, 2, 3. That was his third highest grade of the year overall offensively.
The bye week did Josh Myers a lot of good. It really did. He's hitting his stride now. Hopefully that wrist is not bothering him as much as it was in previous weeks, but he's been blocking his tail off, man. He really has.
Defensively, all right, here we go. Number 1 on the list, Quay Walker, 91.4. His run.
Here's the guy.
Run defense grade, 91.4. Guys, his run defense grade in the past has been pretty bad. Let's see what it has been this year. 59, 40, 73, 57, 53, 66, 67, 57, 51, and then a 91.4. Something clicked. Something happened, man. No doubt.
Clearly, I would love to know what was discussed behind closed doors at 1265 because something happened. I hope we see it again on Thursday. I really do.
Yeah. So let's see. Tackle grade 82.2, pass rush grade 77.9, and his coverage grade once again 70.9. So last week it was a 74.2. This week a 70.9 for Quay. I just want to see him. I want to see him turn the corner so bad, man. Yeah, I really do.
Because it's kind of like now or never, right? You know, it's you're looking for that second contract, and what are we looking at for, or the option? Are they going to pick up the option on Quay? Are they going to give him some money, sign him long term? I mean, he's got a lot to figure out in a few weeks here. So hopefully he closes out the year strong, man. Really rooting for him.
Yeah. Let's see here. Javon Bullard was 41 snaps, 84.9 PFF grade, 62.7 run defense, 81.7 tackle grade, coverage grade, Tim, 87.0 coverage grade for Javon Bullard. That is wild. I mean, look at his coverage grade all year, guys.
Terrible all year. Yeah.
39, 73, 53, 53, 38, 60, 60, 48, 68, 51, and then an 87 against the Niners. You're talking about stepping up in a big-time game, man. That's absolutely awesome.
I think he was asked to do a little more, in the slot, being that we had an emphasis on that run defense, that exposes your slot defender to have to do a little bit more pass coverage. And I think he answered the bell, man. Really do. Yeah.
Keyshawn Nixon, 83.2 with a coverage grade of 84.4. Let's freaking go.
76.6 tackle grade too.
Yeah.
Love it.
Lucas Van Ness, 82.9 with a pass rush grade of 93.8. He played 18 snaps, 10 pass rush snaps, and graded out a 93.8. That's awesome. Brenton Cox Jr., 79.9. His big thing was run defense. You love to see that, Tim, because that's kind of a weak spot of his game, right? He's too aggressive, kind of chases plays rather than set the edge. That's awesome to see his run defense grade.
It's kind of a running theme, right? You got Bullard, his coverage improving. You're looking at Brenton Cox improving. We looked at Quay Walker improving. Maybe this wasn't one-on-one time. Maybe this was like huddle up this defense, man, and let's get it together. Let's get the piss hot again. And I think we saw that for sure yesterday.
Eric Wilson, 75.4, just steady, man. 26 snaps, 75.4. Xavier McKinney, 73.7. Tyron Hopper, 7 snaps, Tim. I don't remember seeing him out there, but he had 7 snaps, 71.3, man.
I believe he's 50. Is he 59? Is that his number? I can't see it on my screen.
Number 59. Yep.
Okay, so he's got Dre's old number, so that might be why he got lost in the mix. We're so used to seeing 59 do nothing out there.
There you go. Carl Brooks, 20 snaps, 70.8. Evan Williams, 36 snaps, 70.8. Zane Anderson showed up, 6 snaps, 69.7. Rashawn Gary, 62.2. Kenny Clark, 61. Believe it or not, that's kind of a high grade for Kenny, I believe. It is this year. That would be his, 1, 2, 3, his 4th highest game of the year, and his pass rush grade, 77.1.
Another player trending upward coming out of the bye week, ever since the Bears. I'll take it.
There you go. There is your defensive grades. Stokes continues to struggle, 26 snaps, 47.8. Carrington had a bad game, according to PFF. And that's stanky. It's 29.5.
Do you think Stokes is getting – it's crazy to see the snap count so high for him. Do you think it's just because of the Jair situation and we're kind of all hands on deck, and maybe they feel more comfortable with Stokes being that he's been around a little longer than Valentine.
Before Valentine got hurt earlier in the year, I remember us talking about one game where they split reps. It was kind of odd. Like, what is that about? Seems like that might be kind of what they were doing with right guard,
Mm-hmm.
But Stokes, listen, he didn't play good, don't get me wrong, but he did, according to PFF, play better than Carrington. So Carrington, kind of a missed opportunity for him there, no doubt.
Yep.
Let's jump over to specials real quick and see who stood out. Isaiah McDuffie, 6 snaps, 74.6. Ballantyne, 19 snaps, 72.8. Evan Williams, 7 snaps on special teams, 69.5. Aaron Mosby, 14 snaps, 69.1. Eric Wilson, 17 snaps, 65.1. So
you guys want to have some fun, go back and watch the special teams reps from Zay McDuffie, man. That guy is he's fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely just plays with reckless abandon out there. I love it.
Yeah. And Javon Bullard on the year now is up to a 58.9. Hopefully he can get a little more consistent with the pass coverage grade there and continue to improve in that regard. As far as who was the other one I want to look at Eric Wilson. Not as many snaps, obviously, but he's sitting at an 80.4 PFF grade this year, Tim. And 268 snaps, too. Pretty good sample size. So
yeah,
Eric Wilson continues to show up and play good football. No doubt about that. All right. So there are your PFF grades from Week 12 against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go rapid fire here real quick, Tim. Since we're not doing a morning show tomorrow, I want to show you guys and gals the old Twitter page here. Well, first of all,
you have me cracking up with this one, man.
We can't play the sound on this one. You can imagine what it says right here.
Man, you got knocked out.
So there's that one, right? And obviously it's the picture of the havoc that Tucker Kraft left behind in the end zone there. You love to see it. This play here, let's hit it real quick. Let's just go rapid fire. I think we got 3 plays. I put shout out to Chris Brooks, all right, smacking Devondre Campbell in the mouth as the lead blocker from the pony package. So this is one of the plays. I think this will be on Chalk Talk. I'm not 100% sure. But watch this. This is what I'm talking about. So they put him over. So now you've got pony package, right? And you can see me. I'm circling Chris Brooks here. So with a pony package, it's 2 running backs, okay? It's basically 21 personnel, and both running backs are in the backfield. You're in a shotgun set, double sidecar, okay? So in this case, Chris Brooks would be the 2, the halfback, and Josh Jacobs will be the 4, who's the right halfback, okay? That's typically how the number system pans out. But watch this play fake here. We're going to snap the ball. See how we got kind of a little orbit motion here. Josh Jacobs is going to go behind Jordan. And then look at this. Chris Brooks is going to fire like he's fired out of a cannon, going to come over and lead block and watch Josh Jacobs on this counter. I called it power G, but it does kind of work like a counter. But look at Chris. First of all, look right here at Elton. You want to know why he graded so well?
Yeah.
I can't remember who 56 is, but somebody needs to call his mama. That's he gets annihilated. So Elton Jenkins pulls, right? Bang. And look at Chris Brooks being patient. Get through the hole. Find Campbell right in the chest plate. Took him out of the play. And then Josh Jacobs does the rest, man. Just a phenomenal play there. This is Matt LaFleur in his bag, bro.
Hey, and you talk about patience because you're right. You almost see him right there. He allows Tay Wicks to get in there and make his block, and they don't crash into each other and going after the same guy. Yep. The fact that he took the time to kind of stutter step and wait for Dre here and get a block on him, that's really what sealed it and got those extra 5 or 6 yards there at the end. It's amazing.
And you've seen Tay Wicks multiple times in this game. They had him lined up in the U, or not the U, the wing, that close Z, what they call Z-wing tight, I think is what it's called. And you'll see why. Watch him on this play like Tim's talking about. Watch him avoid Dre and dig out that safety. Look at 13.
Yep.
Bang.
Boom. And really now run it back from the top. Now watch Josh Jacobs. Look how long it takes for him to be touched by a 49er defender on this play. He's completely untouched.
Yeah.
Finally, contact.
No
this
hesitation.
is what we're talking about. We need to see this down the stretch all the time in the run game.
No. All right, next play we wanted to show. This is pretty straightforward here. Slow motion. Emmanuel Wilson bringing the boom on the DB here. God, I love it, dude. Love it. He didn't motion him over like Josh Jacobs did, but if you watch it in real speed right here, look, he's going.
He's looking right at him.
Yeah, He's like, let me just wait before I get out of bounds. I want to make sure this guy feels this just a little bit.
You had Scoot there blocking on the outside. It's too bad there was another 27 there in pursuit, because it would have been great if E. Wilson would have just stopped here and let this dude fly out of bounds,
right,
and continue the run. But I like the hard-nosed football. You know, we're not the type that's going to just, you know, run to the boundary, get out of bounds, avoid
Bingo.
the contact. If anything, we're going to seek that out. I love it. He's got the ball to the outside hand. Even if you fumble, it's going out of bounds. Play big boy football. I love it. Looks like he's been hanging around with Josh Jacobs a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I think so too. All right, next play. This is pretty sweet. So let me go back to the actual edit here. Tucker Kraft and John Fitzpatrick. We're not going to let Josh Jacobs be denied here. Kraft blasting Devondre Campbell and Fitzpatrick smacking the DB. I want you guys to watch this. This John Fitzpatrick kid, now he's on the injury report with a sore back. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind. We'll hit on that here in just a second as we get ready to wrap up. But watch Tucker. This is Tucker Kraft here, and you'll notice that John Fitzpatrick's just off camera, I'm pretty sure. So watch Tucker get in here. Here's Dre, right? Look at Tucker's eyes, man. Yep. He's going to put in work right now. Bang. Look where Dre ends up, Tim. All the way in the backfield. Dre's now back here behind like 6 players because of what Tucker did to him.
I was going to say he's lucky he got blocked into that defensive tackle there, whoever that was, because he would have went flying even further.
Yeah. And then Kraft turns around and tries to help assist the running back into the end zone. Now, this time, watch John Fitzpatrick. He wasn't off camera. He wasn't off screen. He's actually coming across the formation. You'll see him there, number 86. Bang. Yeah. Or 86, I'm sorry, yeah. So you see him just stonewall the DB. They wanted none of it, man. None of it.
I love it.
So he was actually playing 8 right there, wasn't he? I think he was playing 8.
Yeah, it looked like it, yep. This is what we talk about, though, right? Don't get cute down in the red zone. Pound a rock, man. Exactly. We got the personnel to do it. You can't look at this offensive line and look at guys like Tucker Kraft and, you know, Ben Sims and Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and tell me we can't play power football all day down in the red zone. This is the key to success down there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, stay away from the jet sweeps, right? Yeah. Stay away from the jet.
At least in the red zone, you know. I don't mind them, you know, breaking them out in the middle of your drive here, you know, some deception, but we get back to, you know, you get that short field down in the red zone, man. You're more compressed. I'd rather just, you know, inside, outside zone, whatever. Like you said, a little bit of counter, whatever we got to do. Run duo down there on the 5-yard line, you know.
Yeah. Give me a double-double and watch Josh Jacobs push the whole damn pile.
That's right.
Speaking of Josh Jacobs, the Packers tweeted this out. Josh Jacobs has been nominated for the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. So everybody make sure you go to the Packers Twitter page, find that link, and go vote. Vote with dead relatives' names too. All right, do what you got to do. We know that happens from time to time in this great country. So make sure you go get your vote in and make sure Josh Jacobs wins that FedEx Ground Player of the game. Now let's get to the injury report real quick, Tim. We'll wrap up. First injury report that came out now, it says Packers did not participate or did not practice on Monday. Participation reports are on estimation. So if they had practice today, this is what the injury report would have read like, okay? Jair Alexander would not have participated. Kenny Clark would have been limited with veteran rest, so we're good there. Edgerrin Cooper with the hammy would not have participated. Romeo Doubs, obviously, with the concussion, would not have participated. John Fitzpatrick now has a back injury, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. They're saying that he would have been listed as a DNP. Josh Jacobs and Elton Jenkins, both veteran rest. Isaiah McDuffie would not have participated with an ankle injury. Josh Myers with the pectoral muscle issue there would have been limited, and Rasheed Walker would have been limited. So the big names you want to watch for this week, Jair Alexander, Edgerrin Cooper, Romeo Doubs, John Fitzpatrick, and Isaiah McDuffie. We want to keep a close eye on them on a short week and see if they're going to be ready to go. We'll give you another update tomorrow night on PTA Live here, 7 p.m. Central. For the Dolphins side, Tim, man, Terran Armstead, tackle, Tyus Bauer, linebacker, Calais Campbell, defensive tackle, Kendall Fuller, all did not participate or would not have participated. All right. Let's see. Limited. Tariq Hill would have been limited with a wrist injury. We know he's good to go. Alec Ingold, their fullback, would have been limited. Benito Jones, defensive tackle with a shoulder injury, would have been limited. Jordan Poyer, veteran rest. He would not have participated. I need to kind of look when we go to scout them a little later in the week. We need to see what Jordan Poyer's PFF grade is. I wonder if he's still playing good football or not.
Father Time catching up with Jalen Ramsey. Not one knee, but two knees.
Yeah.
Knees plural.
That's wild, ain't it?
Wow.
Knees limited. He's in a wheelchair. Anthony Walker, junior linebacker, hamstring, did not participate. And then Isaiah Wynn, offensive lineman with the quadriceps/knee injury, would have been limited. Again, these are just strictly projection. These teams did not practice today because of short week. If they had practiced, that would have been their injury designations. So anything else you want to add to that, Tim, before we get ready to wrap up, man?
No, just like you said, man, Miami's got a pretty long list of injuries to deal with too, and they're coming off a short week just like we are. I'm not sure if they were at home. Did they play at home yesterday? I don't know if they're coming off a home game or not, but either way, short week for both teams. Both teams banged up. Both teams have veteran players that are, on this injury report. So, just tells me that it's going to be an interesting game on Thursday. I don't think we're going to see a boat race. I think we're going to see a competitive, close football game.
Yeah, definitely. I see Chris Foster's back in the chat, Tim.
Yeah, not for long. I'd like to get rid of him.
You remember our good buddy Chris Foster that tried to predict the game the other day, and boy, it was bad.
Man, he must have been really excited yesterday when the Bears tied that up. only to have his heart broken yet again. God, it's got to be so depressing to cheer for that team, man. I don't know how you guys do it every year other than just cheer, man. Utter denial of the facts.
The Bears still suck.
I love it. Caleb owns Love. What's Caleb's record against Jordan Love there, Chris? Remind me again.
Caleb owns.
What's Jordan Love's record against the entire organization of the Chicago Bears? I think he's undefeated. So love it. Love it.
Hey man, they still got Sid Luckman,
Number one Packer. Yeah, boy, you got to go back in time for that one. Number one Packer fan say, Chris Foster, leave your mom's basement and put the Jergens down, bro. With that being said, we'll say goodbye to our buddy Chris Foster. Any last words, Chris? Doesn't matter. You're gone, sir. All right, just like that.
Love
he
it.
was gone. Moment of silence for Chris Foster.
Bye-bye.
That'll do it. All right, guys. We're out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging out. It was a lot of fun talking Packers with you guys and gals this evening. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. I got some work I got to do tomorrow, so we can't do a morning show. I'm as sad as I tell you, Tim, I love the morning shows, man. There's nothing I look forward to more than that. But we'll get back on it probably Wednesday. We'll do a morning show. But tomorrow is just too busy of a morning to make it happen. So we'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for Chalk Talk Tuesday. We got 16 plays keyed up. It's going to be an absolute blast. Anything else, Tim?
No, I love it. Excited for Chalk Talk, man. Looking forward to it.
Same. All right. Everybody have a wonderful evening. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.
You're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Green Bay Packers content. Created for the fans, by the fans. Hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you know whenever we go live. Enjoy the show.